Okay, we got a good one here between Beneil, Dariush, and Drakkar Klose, two unranked lightweights. Can't believe Beneil isn't ranked. He's one of the he's world class fighter, but it just speaks to the depth of the lightweight division at the moment. He's on a 3-fight win streak himself over Doba and Camacho, and those guys were doing pretty well at the time that he defeated them. Camacho just knocked out Nick Hine. Doba was doing his thing. Had a good win streak going. I think it was like 3 or 4. And you've seen what he's done after that. He's finished 2 fights in the last in within 2 minutes, I think, over decent opponents too, like Nasrat Hakparas. But yeah, Drakkar Klose he's also put some wins together in the UFC. He's 5-1. All of those fights have gone to the decision. So it's just something to note if you're like a prop better or something. If you're betting on Drakkar Klose, it's probably going to be by decision. He's not. He gets some finishing positions, but just doesn't have the submission ability to submit opponents, or doesn't have knockout power. So yeah, just kind of grinds his way to victories. Beneil Dariush will be bringing in a 1-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage into this one, so we'll see how he can utilize that in the fight. Breaking down Beneil Dariush, he's comes in southpaw, gets his hands by his hips, much like he does in that photo right there. He does that to bait his opponents in and then look for a counter or a counter takedown or a reactive double leg, or looks to clinch up. He'll look to clinch up often when the opponents try to close distance, if they do it too aggressively or if they overextend on punches. And the same thing really applies to Drakkar Klose. He'll also clinch up if the opponents close distance too aggressively, but normally it's him closing the distance too aggressively, and he'll just kind of clinch up to stop his momentum as he's barreling forward, trying to land combinations, or a blitz like 1-2, or a blitz 2-3, or whatever. And off that clinch, he'll look for a big right hand off the clinch break. He's landed that a few times, landing against Diakese and Gygos. I'm not sure how to pronounce that guy's name. Gygos, yeah, something like that. And for Beneil Dariush, he also likes knees in the clinch. So in the clinch, it'll be a real battle. Interesting to see who will have the upper hand, because I believe that'll be a big part of the game. There'll be like a little proxy war within the battle. Who will win the clinch battle will probably get a big psychological advantage in the fight. And for Beneil Dariush, his striking defense is more based on head movement. Likes to lean back. It's not advisable because it leaves your chin exposed with your hands low, as he always does. But he likes to lean back, so he doesn't have to use his footwork to evade strikes. And then he's right back into his favourable range, because all he's doing is leaning. He's not moving his feet, so he's still in boxing range or whatever, and he's looking for another counter. Max Holloway does this very well. If you've watched Max Holloway fights, you've probably picked up on that. But probably Beneil's more effective way of winning fights is his grappling, and most of his takedowns do come from the clinch, so that'll be interesting to see in this matchup, because Drakkar Klose doesn't have very good takedown defense. He has alright takedown defense in the cage and whatnot, but in the clinch, or when he's defending takedowns in the open, he doesn't have very good balance, I believe. I think he's just a bit stiff when defending takedowns. Doesn't engage his hips enough when sprawling and stuff like that. Also, when Drakkar does get opponents to the ground, he does have trouble controlling them. He doesn't have great top control. I believe his chain wrestling, needs work. You've seen him try to get the body lock, get the back body lock on opponents, and then try and lift them up in the air, trying to just mat return them, and he tries to change grips midair and he just doesn't have the technique down pat, so he just kind of loses them and throws them up in the air and they just land on their feet. So he needs to work on that, definitely. And also, he can shoot that driving double leg that he likes to use from way too far away. And he also doesn't set it up all the time. So that's something he definitely needs to work on. We'll see if he's worked on it in this fight. Probably not, because he's had so much success in the UFC. There's not really a need to switch up the game plan, but this is definitely a step up in competition. Some key things that Beneil utilizes in his grappling to make him so effective is that he'll get real hard shoulder pressure on the crossface when he's trying to control the direction of the opponent, when he's trying to get them to face their head the way he wants, so he can take the back eventually. That the reason he does this is because wherever the head is going, that's where the equilibrium is. So that's where the body will go. So yeah, just wherever the head is going, the body follows. Also, when he does transition to the back, he'll usually do that when his opponent's trying to get up to their feet. So when they turn around and get up on all fours or turtle up, he'll take the back, and he's pretty efficient with it. And also, if he can't get the back, or if the opponent's stalling in a turtle position, he'll put one hook in and start GMPing them against the cage, using the cage as the other quote-unquote underhook or hook, because the pressure he'll be putting on them with his body weight will keep them pressed up against the cage, and then he doesn't need to use the other hook because the cage is pretty much holding the opponent down for him. So yeah, obviously he's got, legit BJJ. He's a legit BJJ black belt, like he's been on the scene for a while. I think who did he beat? He beat someone decent on points. I think he beat Kron Gracie, and he had a competitive match with Gary Tonin, I want to say. So he's very well versed on the ground. He's also got smooth BJJ transitions when he's on top. He disguises his subs and his passes very well. He's got good submission defense when on bottom, or when opponents are trying to throw up a triangle off bottom. And he's also very patient. He's a very patient dude. He's got good fight IQ. He's patient in grappling and wrestling situations. If he's ever put in a bad situation in the grappling, he'll stall, wait for the opponent to change positions, or, get bored and want to change their positions. Then he'll burst and usually makes the correct technique to get back to his feet or back into dominant position. And he's using his superior grappling a lot now, which is good to see, because before, on his 2-loss streak, and before that, he was using a lot of his striking, but now it's obvious that his easiest path to victory is his grappling. So hopefully he's just fucking said fuck it and then got him to the game. It's for Drakkar Klose, how he wins. He's got good cardio, good pace. He gets stronger as the fight wears on. He's got good leg kicks, and he's got a great chin. How he loses, however, is that when he tries to clinch up when the opponents get too close, or when he's getting too close to his opponent, he'll leave his hands outstretched, reaching for the clinch, instead of tucking his elbows and then waiting for the clinch to reach him. He'll try and reach for the clinch, and that can be dangerous because your hands are not near your chin in the pocket, and that's where opponents can generate a lot of power, like uppercuts or hooks. That's mostly the punches you're looking for in the pocket. And also, he doesn't hand fight the rear naked choke. I think he's done that in a few fights, but definitely his last fight against Gygos, like if that was fucking Maya or Dariush on his back, he would have been subbed, definitely. He was not hand fighting. He was, I don't know what he was doing. He was trying to shake him off the back, but he wasn't hand fighting. And also, he's not very good off his back. I'd say like his guard is easily passed. He doesn't have good submission defense. Now, I don't think he's ever been subbed, but like just looking at it, like he doesn't look because he just hasn't faced an elite grappler yet. But now he is, so we'll see how that goes. And he's also got predictable movement, just kind of follows you around the cage. He can get bullied in the clinch. Gygos, Green, bullied him in the clinch, kind of turned him around at will until Gygos gassed out, and then Drakkar started taking over in the clinch and in the at distance. Also, he'll bite on feints, and he's easily frustrated. Seen that in a few of his fights. He actually starts fighting dirty after that. He starts grabbing gloves, starts grabbing shorts. Like, I don't like to call fighters dirty, but you just call it as you see it. Like, he's done it in a few fights. But he definitely has the cardio advantage in this one. Yeah. How Beneil Dariush loses. His overhand left has a lot of wind up. I think that's what caught him. No, that wasn't what caught him when he got knocked out by Alexander Hernandez, but he was getting countered a lot in the Edson Barboza fight when he was throwing that overhand left. Also, he's very hittable. His head's on center line, hands low, flat-footed. Just makes you wish that he would use his grappling a lot more. Also, he's had his bell rung multiple times. I think he has a good chin, but he's just been caught by a few really good shots. Like, he took clean shots from Dober, and you saw what Dober did to Nasrat in the first round. And Beneil was taking clean shots from Dober, man. So I think he does have a good chin, but he's just been hit by a few, like, just fucking perfect knockout punches. And also, he loses to strawweights, not strawweights, southpaws with good movement. You saw that in the MJ fight, which, did he win? But he probably lost that fight. But yeah, he was getting outclassed in that one. Chiesa was kind of dancing around him, even beating him in the stand-up, and Evan Dunham. Path to victory for Beneil. Body kicks. Level change when he bum rushes you. Just look for the takedown, get some top control, or look for a submission. Clinch up when he's coming forward. I do believe Beneil does have the clinch advantage in this one. I'm finally going to say it. Yeah, so clinch up often and look to exploit the clinch. Look for takedowns. Look for knees in the clinch. For Drakkar, I'd say don't clinch, which is what you normally do when you close the distance. So don't clinch, don't engage in the clinch, because Beneil is going to take you down if you clinch up. Also, stay in the center of the octagon, don't stay near the fence. Leg kicks, because Beneil's got that wide stance, so just kick his front lead leg out from underneath him. I don't know what's wrong with me today. And yeah, fight in the front foot. Don't let Beneil stalk you, pressure you down. Pressure you down. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, just fight in the front foot. Get the pressure on early, and yeah, look for your offense from there, which is what you usually do, so it shouldn't be a problem. But how I see it going, overall, I think this is a bad matchup for Drakkar. Just all the things he does just plays right into Beneil's game. And honestly, I don't think he's as solid or as impressive as his record states. Like, his record's 11-1-1. It's wrong on the UFC website. But yeah, I just don't think he's that good or well-rounded. You haven't seen him on his back very much in the UFC, but I think he's going to experience it in this fight, and I think he's going to get exposed, to be honest. Dariush, he's very elite in the ground, and I've not been impressed from what I've seen with Drakkar on his back. Also, the way he crushes the distance to, force into a clinch, that's playing right into Beneil's hands. On the feet, it's closer. Yeah, on the feet it's closer. I'd say it's 50-50. But I still favour Beneil on the feet. Maybe Drakkar can out-volume him, but I still favour Beneil on the feet. But his definite path to victory is the grappling. I reckon he can submit him in first round, and that's my prediction ultimately for the fight. Beneil by submission in the first round. Also, the bet is Where are we? The bet is Beneil. Yeah, that's much higher than I expected, to be honest. I've got him winning this fight 75% of the time, which equates to a $1.33 odds. And the fact that you can get him at $1.67, which means he has a 60% chance of winning, I think that's good value. Yeah, I think Beneil cruises in this one, dominates, and probably gets him out there in the first round. So if you like inside the distance, I'd probably go for that instead of just the submission, unless the submission's like $6 or some shit. But I think inside the distance is safer. Like, you could get mount and start ground and pounding Klose, and Klose turtles up and the fight's called. So yeah, you can never get too cute with the props. Just go simple with it. Just bet the money line. I reckon there's value on that. I might put a unit on the inside the distance, but only if it's like $3.50 or something like that. But yeah, I think Beneil cruises in this one.